Greetings and welcome to AJFF in Conversation, a presentation of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival and part of expanded virtual programming. AJFF in Conversation is presented in partnership with American Jewish Committee and made possible thanks to the generous contributions of the Helen Marie Stern Fund and other donors, community partners, volunteers, and you, our loyal audience. Become a member of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival today and help sustain AJFF during these challenging times. Thank you for your support. We can only do more of this with more of you. To learn more about our efforts to stay engaged and connected with you and our community, visit us online at ajff.org or follow us on social. And now, the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival proudly presents our feature program.
Good afternoon and welcome to the July edition of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival's In Conversation series. AJFF in Conversation is part of AJFF's expanded virtual programming in response to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Rich Eldridge, the founder and editor-in-chief of the Atlanta Arts digital magazine, Eldridge ATL. I'm excited this afternoon to moderate a conversation with the talented cast of Flawless, the latest work from writer-directors Tal Grennett and Sharon Maimon. And of course, we want to welcome all of you, the audience, for being a part of today's session. We invite you to be a part of this conversation by using the Zoom Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to submit your questions at any time over the next hour. You may remember that Grennett and Maimon's previous film, The Farewell Party, played at the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival in 2015. That compassionate, unique, and yes, funny film depicted a group of aging friends residing at a Jerusalem retirement home who decide to help their terminally ill friend by building a machine for self-euthanasia. The team's latest film, Flawless, is just as thought-provoking, socially conscious, and timely. An audience favorite at this year's AJFF, viewers saw the setting is once again Jerusalem, but in Flawless, we trade a retirement home for its polar opposite, the treacherous hallways of high school. High school in the age of social media and all the cyberbullying that comes with it. It's a film that powerfully tackles both racism and transphobia. Flawless took home 4 awards at the 2018 Israeli Film Academy, including Best Casting, and in a historic first for trans actresses, Straub Strasko was nominated for Best Actress for her work. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce you now to the 3 lead actresses in the film, Straub Strasko, Nesanet, and Noam Lugassi. Welcome to AJFF in Conversation. I have been asking this question since March, but how are you all? Where are you in the world? And how are you right now in this pandemic?
Well, I'm in Tel Aviv. I'm doing okay. Just, you know, getting used to the new reality.
Yeah, I'm in quarantine actually. So, yeah, fun.
Yeah.
But I'm doing fine. I'm great. Thank you.
I'm in the south. I'm in Dimona, South Israel. It's hard to digest all the new situation. It's hard to see what happens to the culture world. Our theaters are like shutting down and opening it again and shutting down. And we just stopped rehearsal for a very big musical. So it's kind of new situation that we have to get used to the new.
New reality for everyone, I guess.
Well, we are so grateful to all 3 of you for making the time to be a part of this conversation. I wanted to, because I think for most performers, the process starts with the script. And this is certainly a unique script. And I wanted to ask each of you what your first impressions were with the Flawless script, because this film covers a lot of territory and it has a lot of important things to say. When you first started reading the script, what was your reaction? And Stav, we'll start with you.
when I first read the script, I honestly I started crying because I knew that like I really wanted to act, and I just thought that, you know, this script was so beautiful and so important, and when I read it, I thought, damn, I wish I had a movie like that when I was growing up. And yeah, so I was yeah, I immediately said to myself that I really need to get this role. And then I got it, you know. Just did the audition, and
Nisana, what did you think when you paged through the script? You've done a lot of theater work.
The first thing that went to my mind that it was based on, part of the things were based on true stories, so I was a bit overwhelmed by that. I started to investigate. I love to do like investigation and to read like articles and stories and even interview people. So it was kind of radical just to know that it was true. And just from the artistic side, I thought it was like a bit like a comedy. I love the beat of the script. It was in a lot of things it was very funny in some ways, like tragic comedy, you say.
mhm.
Noam, what from your perspective drew you to this project?
Well, I felt a little bit the character was it's a different from me. I mean, it's far from me. It's I think it's time to say that when I was little, I didn't go to the prom because of all of that problems. You know, when who am I gonna date, and who will want to be with me, and what dress will I buy, and all of that. I just said, okay, no, I don't want to be a part of that. So it was nice to go through it with that character, and I was excited. It's an honor.
I want to get the three of you to talk a little bit about your on-screen chemistry, because it's really marvelous in this film. And every film has a different structure behind the camera. Sometimes there's a lot of rehearsal time. Sometimes you meet on set and you have to hit a mark and you start right in. How did your off-screen, did you have time to meet and bond and hang out before the shoot started?
We had a lot of rehearsals, I think.
Yeah, we
No?
started rehearsing about, I think, 3 months before the movie. And obviously, I'm a non-actress, so we really needed those rehearsals because I was
But
super
you are
stressed.
great
But
actress.
yes, I know, but you know, it was
I
all
know.
like the girls helped me a lot. Like wouldn't be able to do this without you girls, because like I learned so much from them on set, and I was so stressed that I will not remember my lines and la la la, and it was okay. It was
There's
I think I
something
did okay.
there was something so authentic about Stav on the set, because like the character, she was, you know, a little bit shy and a little bit, I don't know what am I gonna do, and it was tequila. I mean, it was just like the character, the person like the character.
Actually.
את נבוכה?
Sorry, a little bit.
What I love, as someone who in Atlanta here, I work as senior editor at Vox Teen Communications. And so I work with a lot of young people. And what I love about this film is how, Noam, you were talking a little bit about this before we came on, about how universal this film is, and how teenagers across the globe can relate to this story, and
Yeah,
all of
it's
the
touched
things.
everybody.
Did it hit you the same way when you were filming it, that these were universal truths and universal themes and universal challenges for young people?
Stav, can you translate, please, the questions?
הוא שאל, כאילו כשצילמת...
סליחה.
מה?
האם תוך כדי שצילמת את הסרט הבנת כאילו שזה המצב, כאילו הסרט בעצם מתאר את המצב לא רק בישראל, שזה כאילו באמת המציאות של נוער כמעט בכל מקום?
Yeah, of course, because it's not related to age or איך אומרים תרבות?
Culture.
Culture. I mean, it's touched everybody. Every girl, every teenage around the world is going through some hard time when they are little. I had it. I mean, I guess Nitzanet and Stav, we all go through these problems and issues. When I'm sorry for my English.
Body image.
So yeah, I just felt it's an honor for me to do this movie because I knew I'm gonna touch a lot of people, and I get a lot of message from teenage in Israel that said to me, I felt just like your character. I'm going through some stuff in school and things like that, and it touched me. I mean, I was I was excited.
The other thing that this film really drives home is how many more challenges young people have today in school. There is the pressure to take the perfect selfie, to be a vlogger, and the bullying, especially online. And I think one of the things that this film depicts so powerfully is how something can happen at school, and by the time a young person gets home, it's become viral across the internet and shared. And I think that is, I think especially for those of us who are older, who haven't been in a high school in a few years, I think that's one of the really important messages of this film. The other thing that I love, Natsana, your character, Mika, at the beginning of the film, we're only a few minutes in, but I love this quote. She says, "We're not dogs, we're works in progress." And I love that message that, here is, it just felt like an empowering message. Talk a little bit, I want to ask you, because I think that she's also a really important part of why this film works so well. Asai Levy, who plays Karen in the film, she is absolutely mesmerizing to watch. Talk a little bit about what you learned acting beside her, and what you thought about some of those scenes that you all had to do together, because she goes from being your best friend to being completely treacherous, sometimes in nanoseconds.
Yeah. The question was for me?
Any
Go for it.
Oh, all right. Well, she, first of all, she is a very big actress, Asi, and I think she did it so well that, I learned what is fear, because she was, she's such a good actress that she even sometimes she would get into character already before we started filming. So that was really, like at points, and especially when we were shooting the bathroom scene, I can't say that I was acting. Like I was feeling a genuine fear. But yeah, that was that was a big honor to act beside her, because she's like a really big deal.
You bring up the bathroom scene. I think for many viewers, it is the most emotionally raw scene in the film, and there's a lot of power there. And the three of you, the four of you, all have different reactions and all are required to do different things in that scene. Stav, from your perspective, how difficult was it to go to that emotional place?
Well, it was really difficult, especially because, you know, I could really, because I'm a trans woman, I could really feel the, you know, the shame, like the pain of Eden, and you know, the scene itself, it wasn't very easy to shoot, and obviously we asked for as little people as possible to be on set, so there was like one person from each department, like one from the makeup, one from the wardrobe, and the actors and the directors and the cameraman. Like the rest of the crew, like the rest of the people were outside. And yeah, that was really difficult. It was I think I also after this day I came back pretty drained. Yeah,
very understandable. Yeah. So I want to remind our viewers that we have a Q&A box right there at the bottom of your screen. Please submit your questions for the talented cast of Flawless. I'm going to start with a question for you all from Max Leventhal. He writes, your character was so realistic and the arc of your story was so moving. How much of your high school experience was in this story? And I guess we can ask that of all of you. Nisana, what from your perspective, what do you think?
How it relate like to my storyline in my life, like my biographic life?
Your high school experience, yeah.
Well, kind of none of it actually. The
Really?
character is, yeah, no, none of it. I was always in theater groups and the theater army as well, and like none of it, none of it like in the high school's life, but none of it. I don't know if it seemed that it was, but not. But I could say like about the teenagers, like we always like to talk about, you know, the teenagers and what happens to them, and they have the WhatsApp groups and the Instagram and the filters, you know, that you just need to fix yourself and a little bit of lips and a little bit of nose and everything. And it starts from the grown-up world, like the grown-ups just transmit it to the young people. I could see it even at the kindergarten. Now I have twins and 1 year old, and I see like even in the fairy tale stories, you know, who's the princess, who's the prince, like the ladies will always be somebody that the prince needs to come and rescue you. It starts like really deep, like really inside the like like inside the conscience, like the conscience mind. So it's not only teenagers, and who writes those stories and who transmit it to them, and they are adults. So with time it becomes, you know, less and less and less. But I didn't want to change anything when I was young. I was blonde when I was 20 in New York. I had a blonde moment, but no, I didn't want to change anything.
Noam, for you, how much of your high school experience did you feel was reflected in your character?
Yeah, I wanted to say that my character actually was the same experience as my childhood, because when people wanted to laugh about me, they laughed about my nose, just like in the movie. So it was going through it all over again, but in a different way. So I could feel, I mean, סתיו, את יכולה לעזור לי להגיד שהרגשתי בדיוק כמו בילדות, אבל זה עזר לי להתמודד עם זה, כאילו דרך הסרט.
מה זאת אומרת? סליחה, הסרט עזר לך להתמודד?
שהרגש, כן.
הילדות עזרה לך להתמודד עם המשחק?
כן.
Oh, she said that...
לא, היא הבינה.
I think she said that basically her childhood experience helped her to deal with the acting in the movie. Yeah, correct?
Yeah, because they laughed about the same thing, so.
Right. And stop, from your perspective, how important was it to put Eden's story on film for other young people to see?
Well, I think it's very important because, well, I think nowadays we can see it more and more happening, but in the past, usually when they had a film with a LGBT character, it always usually ends up in a tragic way, and also sometimes they show you know, the characters in a very stereotypical way, and I think it's very important to take LGBT people and bring you know, bring the full story and the depth of the character, and you know, show the complexity of the character and the emotions and what they're going through, you know, and not just the stigma.
Right. Nasana, Andy Siegel has a question for you. Wants to know about, can you talk about the elements of racial bigotry in the film, and was that personal for you?
Yes, there was like a moment that the actress that we did the scene in the bathroom, and the actress couldn't stay, so I did that with the director, and it always passes like the personal, but then you see like how you transmit the text, and it was difficult. It was that scene, and was it the scene in the bathroom and in Ukraine with Asi Levy. It was hard to hear. So, but you always like you want to see that it will be well taken care of and not like by the way. So for me, it was like it had a moment in the movie, which as an actress, and a people and a person of color, it always like it always harsh to, you know, to see it in your face. I always say I remember that I'm colored only when people tell me, because I'm not walking around with a mirror and I'm like, oh right, Anna, oh right, that's because of that, right. Like it takes time to, when I was in my youth, especially because all my friends, they were like they weren't black, and my school, it just turns out like that my school, we were like maybe 2 or 3%, so I would have really forgotten sometimes my color, and only when I'm like, oh right. So it's just so yeah, it was difficult because it's always there, it's always it's something that exists, but you want to see that it's, you know, you just want to bring it up to the discussion, so you do it.
Yeah. So Michelle Eli has written in the chat box, first, thank you so much to all 3 of you talented ladies. As an Israeli woman living in the US, I was honored to take my students to watch your film at AJFF. I was curious to hear how you feel Israeli teens see transgender classmates or peers. What is the experience like for Israeli teens who are transgender?
Well, to be honest, can you repeat it again? The last part of the question?
What is the experience like for Israeli teens who are transgender?
Well, unfortunately, the numbers are, you know, it's bad. It's not that good. In Tel Aviv, it's better, but in other parts of the country, I think Tel Aviv doesn't reflect the situation in the rest of the country. And about 90% of transgender people are still getting rejected from their families, and there's still you know, later on there's still a lot of discrimination at workplaces, and also in finding apartments. The situation is tough, you know, and it also feels like you know, in a lot of places we're still struggling. We're still trying, fighting for, we're not even we're still not even in a place where we're fighting for equal rights. We're still fighting for survival, you know, because some of us getting beaten on the streets. The situation is not good, but that's why we're doing these kind of things. Yeah,
Love you.
I love you too.
Nasana, this might be a question for you, since it sounds like you did a lot of research prior to filming. Shelley wants to know, is the plot line trading kidneys for plastic surgery based on true events?
Yes. Yes. Actually, and it was the kidney. Wow. Now that I think about it, life is hard because my father, he just was diagnosed last year with dialysis. So his both kidneys are bad. So now he needs, I just did the connection now. I didn't even thought about the movie. But yes, so they just, uh, um, I know it was in the papers as well. And in the news,
Yeah,
there were like two girls close to here, to the south, that they just did it in another country, in Turkey, if I'm not wrong, and they
yeah,
transmit, like, just give their kidneys in favor of changing. I think it was breast, and the the difficult part is that the parents didn't know. They just came like, Santa gave me boobs, just came with that. And it's really difficult, for a parent, I believe, that they just knew that after. And then the thing is that there is a big market of people that are hunting young kids, young people, um, in the online, to do those things. And it seems dreamy. It seems like I will have just a little bit lips or a little bit of boobs, and it's dreadful, it's difficult, but it happens. Yes. So yes, it was a long answer, but yes, it's true.
Sarah wants to know, there are clearly many aspects of the film's production and now the film's reception too across the world that were understandably very rewarding for all of you. But what were some of the more challenging aspects in shooting the film? Noam, what were some challenging aspects in shooting the film from your perspective?
Stav, sorry.
מה היה האתגרים, מה היה האתגרים בלצלם את הסרט?
Wow. I think to get away from what the character that Stav role feels and be that mean girl that doesn't care about how she feels. And I mean, when we shot the scene that we give her the mizvadot,
The luggage,
yeah,
the suitcase.
and we tell her, go away, you're a boy, we're not your friends anymore. It was tough for me as Noam, because I wouldn't do it. I mean, so it was hard to להפריד.
Yeah, yeah, to separate.
Yeah, to separate uh, from me and the character I played. Um, and it was all over the movie. I mean, it was tough. Yeah, just like I said, I hope it's a good answer for that question.
Stav, Terry has a question. So Eden in the film is kind of a surrogate mom. The mom has died, and so Eden is taking care of her younger siblings. And Terry wants to know, how was it working with children?
Well, first of all, one of my sisters in the movie is my actual sister, the older one. So it was fun. And she also she really wanted to be an actress. And I knew that I have a younger sister in the movie. So I was like, hey, I told Talent Sharon, like, let's give her an audition. And we prepared together, and she did well. But it was fun, yeah. It was just like some things we had. It was like, you remember the scene where she asks me, like, you promised me to show me your boobs, and I take off my shirt. So obviously that we had to shoot without the act, like they didn't actually, like I didn't actually do it in front of them. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about Eden's very powerful relationship with her dad in this film. And I feel like that is an ongoing challenge for many trans young people. And they're, like many people, I think, they have a parent who's well-meaning but not very educated about trans, issues. And what was playing that relationship? What do you hope is the ultimate effect of having that relationship captured on film, especially for young trans people who see the film and maybe they see it with their parents?
Well, I really hope that it will make people understand that unfortunately, the situation in the world is that most parents don't even get to the point where they accept this thing. But I really hope that people will understand that it's not something that we choose, and it's something that is just the way we are. And if you have to support, if your kid is a trans person, you have to support them, because at the end of the day, if you don't, it just causes a major pain. And initially what you're gonna do is you're just gonna push them away and cause them a lot of pain, and that's it. And I really hope that this movie actually gives the parents like a view of like what it feels like, and understand and be more sensitive about these kind of situations.
Lori wants to know if there's one thing you could bring to bring more awareness to transgender issues or bullying, what would it be?
Well, I really think it should be talked about in school. Because what would I do, or what I think we as a society should do?
I think it could be either.
Well, yeah, I really hope that since we need to make a bigger presence of trans people in media, because the beginning of the American cinema imprinted a very distorted and twisted picture of a transgender person. And I think the public needs to see more and more trans people who are just human beings, and see that there's nothing scary and wrong with it, and we just want people to see us, and also, yeah, I think it should be also talked about in schools and in like sexual education classes, because for me it was very difficult to grow up as a trans person, and I didn't have any trans role models when I was growing up. And so I grew up really confused, when I felt what I felt. I didn't know what trans was. Nobody ever explained to me that it's such a thing exists. So it caused a lot of confusion, and it took me some time to to get there and, you know, accept myself. And it would be much easier if there would be a bit more education about gender.
Yeah. Sana, you've talked a little bit about the theater industry having to shut down right now. I wondered how the Israeli film industry is dealing with the pandemic and when production is expected to resume. Hollywood here in the US is still just on hold. How are you utilizing this time personally and as an actress?
Well, it's kind of chaotic. It's difficult because it's like somebody is just taking the floor out of your feet and you need to stand somewhere somehow. Um, I love the quarantine. I love the silence and just let me be. So the first time it was a bit romantic and nice, but the second time it was like, okay, that kind of spooky. Um, and now it's kind of where are we going with that? Like a lot of people just a lot of people just changed profession. You see like the restaurants here are really fighting for their existence, and I think about it, like the restaurants had a lot of public, you know, a lot of people are coming to the restaurants, they're coming to fill their stomach. And here the theater, like there is public, and it's one of the countries in the world that a lot of people goes to see the theaters. But I still feel like, you know, all the online people are like you know, behind the keyboard just saying like, oh, just get a job, you know, to be an actress is not a job, we did that when we were in the kindergarten, get over with that. So it's like a interesting dialogue, like the actor needs to find himself and needs to find his new spine, like what is to be an actress, how do I contribute to the world. So it made a lot of people like just, you know, shake out a bit and just leave the profession. I'm actually filming a series now. A series, did I did it in Spanish or a series?
Series.
Yes, serious.
Series.
Okay, I said it, sorry,
Series.
I said so we are filming now, so it's kind of a world in a world. It's nice, but still, you know, the director is always with the mask, and you know, the cameraman is with the mask, and it's, it's kind of the
I
fifth
just
element.
I
It's
just
a
have to say that I'm also started to film a series, and we stopped in the middle because ¿cómo se llama
Same.
ahí? Director.
Director.
director
Yeah, so the director is apparently
wasn't.
got sick. So we all of the cast and all of the crew, we in quarantine right now, and we hope we can uh, keep filming it
Continue.
after. Yeah, continue. Thank you. So
Uh,
it's hard time for the filming, and it's hard for
yeah,
everyone.
we
Yeah.
still do the I didn't know about it. That it's so you hear this a lot of stories like that as well. We didn't stop filming. We are filming, but the main character, she was in quarantine for 14 days, so they had to
Wow.
shift all the shootings for you know. And then she came like in the 14th day, hello cameraman. I was like, wow, this is so bizarre because she's the main character, and she, but it was good because the crew was warmed up for her, so it's
Yeah.
nice.
Let's just say thank you about what we have, even if it stops in the middle. I say thank you every morning that I can still do my job. So it's hard
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
We're grateful that all three of you are safe and sound. Andy Siegel wants to know, I love this question. Did anyone on your team question or debate the ending of Flawless? In real life, things do not always turn out so neatly.
Well, I think the end, well, neatly. I don't think the end of the. I think there's something really beautiful about the end of the movie because it's not, you know, the ending is not perfect. It's not the happily ever after, like the classic happily ever after story. The ending, you know, we don't get to go to the prom, and we don't get to end up with the love of our lives, but and Eden is still getting bullied, you know. She doesn't, you know, she decides to stay. It's the first time she, like, you know, she decides to stay and fight, even though her reality is not perfect, but she has her two friends. So the end of the movie is not perfect. We didn't get the, you know, the perfect ending for every character, but it shows that the friendship is what's important, and I think it's something really beautiful.
I think my final question for the three of you is, Flawless is a really special film. It's always going to be a very special film of this era that we are all living in across the world right now. Noam, I'll start with you. What does it mean to have been a part of this film, of Flawless?
What does it mean?
מה זה כאילו, מה המשמעות של בשבילך של להיות חלק מהסרט הזה?
I think, just like I said before, it's an honor for me to be able to touch teenagers and talk with them after the film, and answer their questions on Instagram and things like that, and tell them that we can make it, we can go through it. I mean, just I don't know, סתיו, תגידי פשוט שזה רגש אותי ששמים סיטואציה כזו קשה על המסך, ושאפשר, שמראים דרך להתמודד איתה.
I think, נצנת, איך אומרים ריגש? כולנו נתקענו כזה.
Moved.
I think Noam was saying that it made her really moved that they took this hard situation, and you know, they shed a light on it and showed it to the world, you know.
Yeah, thank you. And just like I said before, it was the same situation that I went through when I was little. Like I said about my nose, and people were laughing about me. So I was excited that it's on the screen, and let's talk about it. Let's face it that there is a situation like that, and let's talk about it.
Nisana, is this going to be a film that you one day show your twins?
Oh. Wow. Yes, of course they will see it someday. They will laugh about me. Yes, I will show them. Yes, of course.
And stop, from your perspective, to have this moment, this revolutionary character just on film for all time, what does that mean to you?
Well, first of all, it makes me really proud, I have to say. And second of all, it means a lot, you know. I think, first of all, when it gives, I think, for teenagers who are feeling a bit different, and it gives a lot of, it could give a lot of hope to teenagers. And also to the other side, you know, I think it could also, this movie could also educate people to not be assholes, and that's it. And I hope people will learn something from this movie, and that it really gives, you know, a view of what it feels like to be dealing with body issues and bullying and being trans.
I want to thank all three of you for being a part of this very special conversation.
Thank you.
This was a joy to get to have a conversation with you about this. We also want to let our audience know that as we wrap up, you will be redirected automatically to a survey. Please take it and let us know what you think of our ongoing AJFF in Conversation. And also, we want to remind our audience about future AJFF programming by visiting ajff.org and subscribing to our email list. We want to thank the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Atlanta, Cinemoms, Hillels of Georgia, JF and CS, Jump Spark, Out on Film, and the Weber School. I just want to thank you again. And of course, thank our audience for the wonderful questions. Everyone have a wonderful and safe rest of your day. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much for having us.
Richard.